As entrepreneurs, brave enough to create opportunities for ourselves, to love what we do for a living, we often encounter warnings about how taking our passions and twisting them into a way to make money may leave us feeling cold and empty. You can start ignoring those warnings today, because the people who experience this type of downfall left one very important step out. Love how you do it. How to live up to your brand. Hi everyone, this is Canon Wing with Inspiration to Millions. Your brand will promote a state of being, an emotion through everything you create. Can you name the emotional state your brand creates? Are you consistent in creating this state of being in everything that you do? In today's digital market, brands that don't live up to their emotional story are deleted from sight within the first 3 to 5 seconds. Researchers have dubbed this the blink test. It sounds a little scary, but it's actually necessary for anyone, me, you, our ideal individuals, just to navigate the internet at all. Understanding that the emotion, the flavor, the type of party your brand is throwing needs to come through in those first few moments. Like boom, your name, tagline, logo. Possessing this knowledge can be an edge above the rest. It's the first bullseye we aim for as a brand. Taking the leap to spearhead your own brand means you are ready to do what you love. Almost all of my clients, in order to launch their brand, had to leave something behind. An unfulfilling industry, an uninspired corporation. Sometimes clients completely leave their established field altogether to dive into a whole new industry that until now, they've always kept close to their chest like a secret. Often this work includes allowing an old mindset to die that may have been keeping them back, a limiting belief, a vulnerability. As with all of life, the end of one chapter heralds the beginning of the new one. Congratulations on making that first very daring, exciting step toward doing what you love. There's a secret to mastering this art of loving what you do, and I'm going to give it to you right now. Loving what you do is actually a 2-part equation. We've all heard those downtrodden adages about how taking something much loved, a dearly held passion, and twisting it into a way of making money has left many artists and entrepreneurs feeling like a dried up well. The well need not run dry for you. Because after today's episode, you will know the secret ingredient to loving what you do is to love how you do it. Okay, so what does that mean? At the end of this episode, I'm going to provide you with 3 ways to embody your user experience as a simple guideline to creating an aspirational arc for your ideal end user. They are: demonstrate value, develop credibility, and design the future. But first, let's start by taking a look at a couple of the world's top entrepreneurs who love what they do and love how they do it. The first person to pop into my head, and I'm sure into yours, Richard Branson, founder of Virgin Records, Virgin Airlines, Virgin Mobile. Richard Branson is a shining example of love how you do it. He's built an entire empire on his own terms and in the face of many who doubted him by relentlessly embodying his brand's user experience. When you think of Virgin brand, can you see that sleek purple light that fills the cabin when you fly Virgin America? Can you hear the Sex Pistols turning their instruments before they turn on an arena into an entire mosh pit? Virgin is cheeky. It's anti-establishment. It's rock and roll. Virgin Records was actually the first label to sign the Sex Pistols. Virgin Records would then go on to pick up the Rolling Stones. I'm not embarrassed to say, when I fly Virgin, I feel pretty cool. Feeling cool is the user experience customers are meant to have when they participate in the Virgin brand community. Feeling a little rock and roll. And damn the man. It's built into their brand like a hometown. Richard Branson embodies that user experience with panache. The name Virgin started out as a joke because Branson and some of his friends had never started a business before and they weren't exactly sure what to do. Branson was a music fanatic from a very young age. In school, he struggled with dyslexia and didn't exactly get good grades. On the last day of school, Branson's headmaster told him he was either going to end up in prison or become a millionaire. Branson once said, "There is no point in starting your own business unless it is out of a sense of frustration." Virgin Records was born a mail-order record business. Branson started because he was frustrated at the outrageous prices being charged for music. I want to point out that frustration cannot exist unless there's an underlying passion, a deep current coursing below the surface, a love for what you do, and a desire to do it your way. Otherwise, you wouldn't care at all. You wouldn't care enough to be frustrated. My favorite story about this brand is how Virgin Records extended into Virgin Airlines. Can you guess why? It's a love story. Branson had a woman that he hadn't seen in 3 weeks, and he was en route to reunite with her. The final flight on his journey to Puerto Rico is canceled. Well, Branson will be damned if he doesn't smooch his love on that very night, right? He charters an aircraft and offers a ride to the other stranded passengers for a small fee that covered the cost. Branson was so pleased with the outcome, so pleased with the feeling of how he did that he was inspired to purchase a couple of 747s, and Virgin Airlines was born. If you Google images of Branson, you'll find pictures of him kite surfing the world, both with and without a naked model on his back. And he had his wife's permission, thank you. Or you can find pictures of him working for a day dressed as a female flight attendant. They're adorable. It was for Air Asia because he lost a bet. What a great Virgin moment there. The Virgin brand has thrived since the vinyl seat 70s. Even though you don't see Virgin record stores anymore, even though Virgin hasn't stuck to one industry. In fact, Virgin has attached its name to several other enterprises you may not even have heard about. Did you know that there were a chain of health clinics, a Grand Prix racing team, an entertainment company that focused on animation? Up next, you can look out for Virgin Hotels and even Virgin Galaxy, which will be making space travel possible as a vacation experience. How rock and roll is that? Virgin brand loyalists are in it for the experience, the flavor, the panache. Virgin is a brilliant example of a company that hasn't needed to stay in their own lane to maintain brand loyalty. It's a testament to the fact that buying is always an emotional decision. Whatever the product or experience being offered by Virgin, the Virgin brand loyalists are all in because they love the way the brand makes them feel. The Virgin brand survives because no matter what they do, Virgin loves how they do it. And Richard Branson, Virgin's own rock and roll Robin Hood, has been there from the very beginning, embodying Virgin brand user experience. The brand survives because the user experience survives. For contrast, let's take a look at a very different, but also very significant entrepreneur, the one and only Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs co-created the first Apple computer in his parents' garage. In school, he was a bit of an outcast, shall we say, and a discipline case he was prone to boredom and he had eccentricities. He had a teacher who would sometimes bribe him with $5 just so Jobs would complete an assignment. When he was piecing together the first personal computer, it was because he wanted his own computer. He couldn't afford what was on the market, and what was on the market didn't have practical uses for improving everyday life. Steve Jobs had a panache, a vision for a user experience that embodied technological excellence, and he wanted it for himself first. Now look at Apple. We love Apple. The tagline for Apple is Think Different. Steve Jobs is the embodiment of thinking different, and the fruits of his labor were born from his love of technology and his desire to do things his way. Today we have a MacBook and iPhones and iPads and the entire legion of brand loyalists saying, I will buy whatever product I can get my hands on. For the brief time Jobs stepped away from Apple and invested in a digital effects company called Pixar, his vision for Pixar led that company to making the first ever full-length digital animation film, the much-loved Toy Story. Oh, thank you, Steve Jobs. In this example, Steve Jobs stepped away from the name Apple and extended his embodiment of excellence in technological user experience to an entirely different company. Not everyone knows that Steve Jobs is the man behind their beloved Pixar favorites, but they responded with enthusiasm all the same. People love the user experience Steve Jobs embodies, regardless of which angle of technology he's excelling at, and regardless of what name he's working under. Steve Jobs once said, the only way to do great work is to love what you do. And if you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know it when you find it. I think it's worth mentioning that during the time in the mid-'80s when Steve Jobs was estranged from Apple, the Apple brand almost disappeared into oblivion. In the late 90s, when someone said Apple computer, people were still picturing that old first model with its giant keyboard and floppy disks. And blink, nobody cared. Apple was failing the blink test hard. When Jobs returned in 1997, the tagline became Think Different. And everything about Apple brand follows suit with Think Different. And blink, everyone's attitude towards Apple changed. Richard Branson and Steve Jobs are very different characters, but I think you will agree they are both characters nonetheless. What these two love how you do it masters have in common is they are true to themselves down to the core. Their brands are an embodiment of what they value, strive toward, and most importantly, what they love. Without further ado, I present you with the 3 ways to embody your user experience so your brand can come out of nowhere and be an inspiration to millions. First, we have demonstrate value. Yesterday's consumers wanted to see your product in action. Today's consumers want to see your brand in action. What are your brand's values? What emotion does your brand seek to inspire in others? Look into your heart for these answers. Draw upon that coursing undercurrent that stirs your soul. When you're clear about your heart-led driving forces, you can begin to embody your brand's user experience. Show your future brand loyalists why you love what you do by letting them watch you love what your brand has done for you. Yes, it sounds tropey and, kind of saccharine-y. So what? You are now in the business of loving what you do and of loving how you do it. Brand loyalty is your business plan. The foundation for loyalty is love, and love begets love. Next is develop credibility. Often what this means is it's a siren's call to be fearlessly true to yourself. A great brand is a promise kept. Once you know what your user experience, your brand is expected to embody, carefully curate your brand's relentless support of that experience. People often don't recall what they hear or read as much as how well they remember how it made them feel. Keep them feeling what they came to your brand to feel each and every time, and they will begin to trust your brand. Having a trusted brand community is a responsibility to be consistent, but the reward is brand loyalty. And finally, we have design the future. Every brand is an invitation to a greater future, a new frontier, an exciting new world. Start living in that greater future now and pave the way for your ideal end users, your ideal individuals. Start laying track. Bring this greater future into being into your own life so you can be the beacon that proves your brand is the way home. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you can see more clearly the value in you, the unquestionable value in your passion, your courage to launch your own strange new world, and all that holds for your brand. Let your love pave the way for others to have a user experience born of your panache, your own personal flavor, your own particular expression. Love what you do and love how you do it. Thanks for watching. Don't miss out on a single thing. Subscribe below. And here's something else I think you'll love.